Hey guys, welcome back. So this week you are going to have 4 lessons. We're going to be starting in our new workbook. Hopefully you guys got these delivered to you. If not, let me know and I can take and look into that. We are in 6th grade unit 8 now. So we're going to be looking at lessons 1 through 4. So we're going to go ahead and start on lesson 1. We're looking at data and analyzing data. So here is let's see, is this yes? Okay, here's a dot plot for a data set. So we've got the dot plot. Some of you guys may remember dot plots from last year in 5th grade. We take our data and we put dots above it on a number line. So determine if each of the following would be an appropriate label to represent the data in the dot plot. Be prepared to explain your reasoning. Number of children per class. So if we look at this, could this data set represent the number of children per class? What do we think? Look real close at the data. We're going up by 1, 2, 3. We've got all these partials. Can we have partial children? No, so this could not represent the number of children per class. We can't have a quarter of a student or a half of a student or 3/4 of a student. That's just not possible. All right, what about the distance between home and school in terms of miles? Could we have someone who lives a quarter mile from school, half mile, 3/4 of a mile, mile and a half, mile and 3/4, 2 miles, 2 and a quarter, 2 and a half? Would that be fitting? Yeah, that'd be completely possible. Whoops, much more reasonable. What about the number of hours spent watching TV each day? Could we watch 0 hours or a quarter hour, half hour, 2 hours, 2.5 hours? Yes, certainly, depending on the day. I'm sure we could. All right, what about the weight of elephants in pounds? Could we have a quarter-pound elephant? A 2-pound elephant? No, not nearly high enough for our weight for our elephants. What about the points received on a homework assignment? Could you receive 0 points? Could you receive a half? A full point? 2 points? 2.5 points? Yeah, that's possible, depending on what the assignment's out of, or even in some cases, no matter what. It just depends on a student's work. So, looking at dot plots and seeing what they could represent in terms of the data, making sure that you understand what these look like. Can we have half children? No, we can't have a half of a child. So making sure you understand that. So what's another label that we could use for the dot plot? So we know we could have distance between home and school, hours spent watching TV, the points received on homework assignments. What else could we have? Well, the one that I have is time spent napping in hours. So could we have an hour-long nap? Could we have a 2-hour-long nap? Yeah, certainly. So this is one thing it could represent. Now, you could have other things there as well. You just have to make sure that you could have partials on it. So because we don't have just all whole numbers, you have to be careful with what you say for your scenario. So in my scenario, what does 1 dot represent? So it represents the length in hours of a nap in one day. Now, what would the data point of 0 mean in terms of our situation about napping? It means a day without a nap. Day without, it's supposed to be without a nap. What about a data point of 3.25? Well, that'd mean a 3.25 hour nap. So a rather long nap. So that's what we're looking at, being able to take a dot plot and apply a scenario to it, and then understand what each of the points would mean within that scenario. Okay, the next thing we're looking at. Now, we aren't actually surveying the class. Obviously, that would be kind of difficult since we're not all together, but we're going to use these questions as we take and do the next part of this. So I'll be referring back to these questions quite frequently. So in your workbooks, go ahead and just kind of look back as I'm going through this for some help on that. So we've got all these different questions. I'll go ahead and read through them since we are going to use them for the next thing. How long does it usually take you to travel to school? How do you travel to school on most days? How tall are you without your shoes on? What is the length of your right foot without your shoe on? What is your arm span? How important are the following issues to you? Do you have siblings? How many hours of sleep per night do you usually get when you have school the next day? How many hours of sleep per night do you usually get when you do not have school the next day? And other than traveling from school, what do you do right after school on most days? If you could meet one of these celebrities, who would you choose? And estimate how much time per week you usually spend on each of these activities. So playing sports or doing outdoor activities, doing homework, reading, or using a screen for fun, like watching TV, playing computer games, etc. Okay, so all those questions are going to lead into what we're looking at here with our numerical and categorical data. Now, numerical and categorical data, this is your key word for this lesson. So kind of a phrase rather than just a single word, but it's numerical and categorical. Or you can have it flipped around, categorical and numerical. Either will be acceptable. So the list of survey questions in the activity earlier, so that was that list that I just read from up above, can help you complete these exercises. The first survey question about travel time produces numerical data. Identify two other questions that produce numerical data for each. For each, describe what is measured and its unit of measurement. So numerical data means that when you ask the question, your answer is going to result in a number. So thinking about the first question, travel time, well, that's going to be a numerical answer. We're going to say it takes us 20 minutes, it takes us 2 minutes, it takes us 5 minutes, it takes us a half hour. One of those things. Those are all numbers, so it's a numerical answer. So if we look back at the previous questions, question 3 is also numerical, as well as 12. So these are the two I'm going to write. With all those questions up above, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 12, all of those are numerical questions. So if you look back at those questions and look at what it's asking, you're going to realize that you'd have to give a number for an answer, which helps us understand our numerical. All right, so in question 3, it was asking us, how tall are you without your shoes on? So what is measured is height. Oops. Hold on, that didn't right. Height without shoes. So then the unit of measurement would be, let's see, what did it say? How tall are you without your shoes on? Answer to the nearest centimeter. So our unit of measure is centimeters. There we go. All right, for question 12, so remember question 12 said, estimate how much time per week you usually spend on each of these activities. Answer to the nearest quarter of an hour. So it's looking for amount of time on activities. And the unit of measure, it's going to be in terms of minutes, since we are looking at the nearest quarter hour. So minutes. I would also accept hours here. So this is our numerical data. Look at what we're actually measuring. Here we're measuring height. Here we're measuring time. Those are things that are a numerical set of data. Okay, it gives you a number. All right, for question 2, the second survey question about travel method produces categorical data. Identify 2 other questions that produce categorical data. For each, describe what characteristic or feature was being studied. So, question 2, like it said, asked, how do you travel to school on most days? So our answer for that was we walk, we bike, scooter, skateboard, car, school bus, public transportation, other. So it's a thing. It's something that we can classify. So it's not a number because we're looking at how we traveled, not how long we traveled. So we're looking at a thing. So if we look through all those questions, we'll find that question 7 is also categorical, and 11, as well as 10 is an additional one that is a categorical one. So for question 7, it states, do you have any siblings? So the characteristic being studied is whether you are an only child. That's supposed to be D. There we go. For 11, it's asking us, if you could meet one of these celebrities, who would you choose? Or sorry, that was 10. No. Yeah. Okay. 11. Sorry. If you could meet one of these celebrities, who would you choose? So the characteristic being studied is who you would want to meet. So who you would want to meet. And question 10 being, as there were only 3 for this, question 10 was, other than traveling from school, what do you do right after school on most days? So the characteristic being studied is first activity after school. So this is our numerical and categorical data. So key features of numerical data is you're going to get a number. So numerical, number. Categorical, you're going to get some items, some names. So like with the only child, you had a yes or no. Yes, I have siblings. No, I don't have siblings. 11, I want to meet a athlete or a movie star. It's a thing. It's not a number. So categorical are basically the other questions. So numerical, you get a number. Categorical, it's all other sorts of answers. Okay, so remember, numerical and categorical is your keyword. You can also have it flip-flopped, categorical and numerical. Either way works perfectly fine. Have an excellent day and happy mathing.